Today we're announcing the charging decision in the police officer-involved death of Dexter Reed that occurred on Chicago's West Side on March 21st, 2024. I want to make it very clear before we say anything else that the only criteria we look at when making charging decisions are the facts of this case and the law that governs it. ASA Lynn McCarthy, the head of our Law Enforcement Review Unit, has been overseeing this matter from the outset, within hours of the incident's occurrence, in fact. ASA McCarthy is going to present to you the analysis which was conducted in reaching our charging decision. Her presentation includes our office's role in making the charging decision, how the investigation was conducted, what evidence and materials were accessed and reviewed, and the roles and responsibilities fulfilled by other agencies. We will also show you that evidence, including the body-worn camera footage from each of the officers involved, as well as home security footage that captured the incident. From the multi-viewpoint footage, we have prepared a synced compilation of all the video evidence on one screen that I believe is quite helpful in understanding how quickly this entire incident transpired. I want to warn you, though, before you look at the footage is very graphic and it is very disturbing. Finally, you will see the relevant statute and case law when it comes to officer-involved shootings and how our office applied those laws and precedents to reach our decision. Before I turn it over to ASA McCarthy, I want to say this. What happened that evening was a tragedy. A young life ended. A police officer was shot with a potentially career-ending injury, and many other lives were upended. An entire neighborhood was traumatized. The encounter lasted about a minute and escalated quickly. About 30 seconds after the officers first approached his vehicle, Mr. Reed opened fire, striking one of the officers. Over the next 41 seconds, 107 gunshots rang out. As you will see, it was a terrifying and chaotic scene. When a person is shot and killed by a police officer in Cook County, my office has a statutory mandate to review the investigation and all available evidence and bring criminal charges if they are warranted. In this case, the evidence is clear and overwhelming that we would not be able to meet our burden and secure convictions. Therefore, we will not be charging any of the police officers who were involved in this incident. As is the protocol in an officer-involved shooting, the Illinois State's Attorney Appellate Prosecutor's Office, it's also called ILSAP, reviews our decision based upon the evidence and the law. ILSAP is not affiliated with the Cook County State's Attorney's Office and provides an independent assessment of the law and the facts that are presented. ILSAP has reviewed this case and our decision, and they have issued their opinion agreeing with our decision that the evidence presented does not warrant any criminal charges against the officers. This decision is not reached lightly, nor does it diminish the tragedy that has occurred. But it is unmistakable that Mr. Reed was the first to fire his weapon, a gun he did not legally possess. This action seriously wounded a police officer and set off the initial exchange of gunfire. The evidence also shows that after an 8-second pause, Mr. Reed again engaged in a second round of gunfire. Now I want to be clear about something else. It is not this office's role to examine or cast judgment on police tactics. This is not the appropriate venue to judge whether the officers involved deviated from their training or whether the policies and procedures they trained on are appropriate. There are other avenues for those questions and issues to be addressed. But to the question of whether the officers committed a crime under the Illinois Criminal Code, the answer is straightforward. They did not.